Cha-chat na po namin, sir.
Sige, thank you po. Eksaktong 5:30 na nga ako nag-send ng link, para hindi na tayo maghintay. Katulad nung nakaraang Friday. Marami na ba kayong uma-attend sa ibang klase o mga 8, 10 pa rin?
Opo, gano'n pa din po.
Oh, grabe ha. Ready kaya ang reporter today?
Ready po kami.
Ay, congratulations.
Oo,
Thank
ang aga,
you.
kaya pala nag-aabang si Jerome.
Grabe siya, ready siya. Madali pa naman yung topic. Kaya kaya ng kaya ni Sir Jerome yan. Sige, while we are waiting for them to join the Google Meet, you may have your late merienda or early dinner, or you can play as well. Just make sure that once the time reaches 5:50, we'll start the class. As of now, may sumasali pa. Thank you. Last 2 minutes. I hope that they are still willing to attend our class. Hoping let us start. Pasensya na po, hinintay talaga natin sila pero parang hindi pa ata talaga ukol na rumami ang a-attend sa klase. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Luwalhati sa Ama at sa Anak at sa Espiritu Santo, kapara ng sa unang-una, ngayon at magpakailanman at magpasawalang hanggan. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening.
Good
Good evening,
afternoon.
sir.
Today, we will be discussing the nature and background of communication to be reported by Miss Membrebe and Sir Lirio. Ma'am, sir, you may start.
Okay. Una kayo. Our topic for today is about nature background of communication. First, what is communication? Pakibasa po. Wala magbabasa.
Is simply the act of transferring information from one place, person, or group.
Communication, ito po yung proseso ng pag-share ng isang information, ng ideas and thoughts from one place to another or between individuals. So, sa bawat communication po kasi, merong isang sender, meron isang message. Sorry sa boses ko, wait lang. Sorry, niubo po kasi. Meron isang sender, meron isang message at receiver. And included po dito yung emotion and situation sa isang communication. For example na lang, bawat organization po ngayon is nagbibigay ng information or nakikipag-communicate para ma-introduce yung product and services nila. So, bakit nga ba? Siyempre, para magkaroon sila ng consumers. Next nito is different categories of communication. Verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written communication, and visualization. Una, yung verbal communication. Verbal communication is a spoken language. For example, is you are advising others or di kaya pagdidisiplina sa employees ng direct to the point pero syempre dapat sa magalang na pamamaraan. Ang advantage kasi ng verbal, it saves time pagdating sa pakikipag-communicate. Dahil na di-delivered mo rin agad yung dapat mong sabihin. And there's a chance na maklaro mo agad sa kausap mo ang isang idea once na nagbigay sila ng feedback. Next is non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication, ito naman yung kabaliktaran nung sa verbal. Yun yung unspoken language. Non-verbal communication is the transfer of information through the use of body language, including eye contact, facial expression, gestures, etc. For example, sa non-verbal communication, yung ngumiti ka once na may makasalubong kang kakilala mo. Meaning nun, di ba, binabati mo sila. Pangalawa namang example is kapag nasa isa kang meeting, tapos nananatili ka lang nakaupo, tapos pinapakita mong interesado ka, syempre, it delivers respect and you are paying attention. About naman sa gestures, under pa rin yun ng non-verbal. Once na mag-thumbs up ka nga lang, meaning na nun is approval or confirmation, di ba po? Pangatlo, written communication. Written communication, from the word itself, writing, means sending of message through letters, reports, bulletins, job description, emails, and also in wait lang. And also instant message. For example, ikaw ay isang business owner. Dapat sumulat ka ng memo para para alam ng mga staff mo kung ano ang hindi at dapat na gawin. Tsaka pag maayos yung written communication mo, mas madaling malalaman kung ano yung problema at madali rin itong masosolusyonan. Tsaka makakatulong din to para makapag-build ng trust and integrity sa pagitan ng writer at saka ng reader. Kapag ginamit mo pala yung written communication, make sure pala na na maganda o maayos yung pagkakasulat mo para hindi magkaroon ng misunderstanding between nga sa sender and sa receiver. Yun. Pang-apat is visualization. Nandiyan pa ba kayo?
Dito pa kami. Boy pa.
May kinig ba kayo? Pang-apat po is visualization. Visualization is an effective way to communicate both abstract and concrete ideas. Sa visualization, dito yung pagre-represent ng isang information. An example kung saan mo magagamit ang visualization is sa mga websites, ganun, sa social media posts, sa office presentation, sa mga meetings. And ang purpose na itong visualization ay para maibahagi yung isang message sa mas madaling paraan. At bakit ko nga ba nasabing sa mas madaling paraan? Kasi sa visualization, hina-highlight lang nito kung ano yung trending at kung ano yung importanteng mensahe at kung ano yung kapaki-pakinabang na information. Yun po. Next is 8 major elements of communication. First is sender. Pakibasa po. Parang wala akong kausap eh.
Sender is the
Hello.
person attempting to share information.
Ayan. Ay, wait. Tumaingay. Sender naman, alam naman natin, siya yung source of communication. Kasi sa kanya nanggagaling o nagmumula yung isang mensahe. Pwede rin siyang tawaging speaker, pwedeng writer, o di kaya communicator. Next is message. Pakibasa po.
Message is a discrete unit of communication intended by the source of consumption by recipient of group of recipient.
Sa message, ito yung information. Sabi ko na yan kanina. Ito rin yung balita, yung advice, request, o kung ano pa, na kung saan sinesend via messenger, via telephone, email, and pwede rin naman in person o kaya gaya ng ginagawa natin ngayon dito sa Meet, iba. Masasabi naman nating mahalaga ang message kasi to inform the audience or ang receiver sa gusto mong sabihin at para mas maintindihan nila. Next, encoding. Pakibasa po, John Paul Press.
Encoding translate the ideas of concept into the coded message that will be communicated.
Encoding. Wait lang ulit. Sa encoding, sabi nga dito, ang encoding pagta-translate nung idea into a coded message para maging isang communication. Si sender kasi ang nag-e-encode or nagko-convert ng isang message into action, words, o kung ano pa na kung saan ang sender at receiver ay magkakaintindihan. And kaya kailangan i-encode ang ano yun? And kaya kailangan i-encode ang isang message is para ma-minimize at maiwasan ang pagka-misinterpret ni receiver. Next is channel. Pakibasa. Sige ako na lang. An encoded message is conveyed by the sender and transmitted to the receiver through a certain channel, which may be either formal or informal. Sa channel, dito mo pagdedesisyonan yung message kung paano kung paano mo siya i-deliver. Pwedeng face-to-face conversation or pwede ring telephone conversation, video conferencing, tas written communication or di kaya mass media. Siyempre, pagkatapos ng channel, ida-direct mo na yan kay receiver. Receiver is the individual or group of individuals to whom a message is directed. Ang receiver po ang nakakatanggap ng message na nagmula kay sender. Si receiver ang tagabasa, tagapakinig, at taga-obserba. Si receiver din yung pwede rin siyang tawaging audience o kaya reader at pwede ring decoder. Siyempre, dyan napapasok ang decoding. The person who receives the message or symbol from communicator tries to convert the same in such a way so that he may extract its meaning to his complete understanding. Sa decoding, ang receiver ang nagde-decode ng message. Ang ibig sabihin ng decoding is pag-intindi o pag-interpret sa encoded message na sinend ni sender. At kapag na-decode na ni receiver ang message, pwede na siyang magbigay ng feedback. Feedback is the process of ensuring that the receiver has received the message and understood in the same sense as sender mean. Ang other term ng feedback is reaction. Natakal natin yung last na meeting Reaction, response, or reply. Usually, magbibigay ka ng usually pag feedback, magbibigay ka ng ng komento base sa nabasa mo or iyong napakinggan. Ask ko lang, minsan nyo na bang na-experience na hindi kayo magkaintindihan ng kausap mo?
Opo.
Di ba? Di ba? Of course, nangyayari yun.
Chinese kausap ko eh.
Pero, kaya nangyayari minsan yun, di ba, sa, yun nga yung misunderstanding nangyayari because of the presence of noise. At, at itong noise na to, it is also known as barrier. Communication barrier can include anything that prevents or disables communicators to deliver the right message to the right person at the right time, or a receiver to get the right message at the right time. Barriers are factors that affect the flow of communications. Mayroon tayong mayroong two types ng barriers. Ang isa is internal o panloob and external o panlabas na barrier. Pag sinabi nating external, ito, pag sinabi nating external, ito yung barrier na nangyayari outside. For example, kahol ng aso or ingay ng taong nasa paligid mo or di kaya busina ng sasakyan. Anything na nakaka-distract sa pakikipag-usap, yun yung external barrier. Ang internal noise naman or internal barrier, etong barrier na to is nangyayari sa atin since hindi ito visible, mahirap tong makontrol. Ang example nito is yung feelings or emotions. An example nito is, di ba may kausap ka na kausap ko kayo, ganun. Pero hindi tayo nagkakaintindihan kasi may iba kang iniisip. Halimbawa, nag-iisip ka ng problema or may nanggugulo sa'yo. Ayun yung perfect example ng external ba yung sinabi ko?
External.
Oh, nalilito na rin ako eh. Hindi, internal pala. Ayun yung example ng internal barrier and noise. Next, principles of communication. Jerome.
Principles of communication. Sa principles of communication, meron tayong 7C. Complete, clarity, concise, courtesy, correct, concrete, at consideration. Mauna tayo sa complete. Complete. The message must contain all facts needed for desired reaction. Uh, your business message is complete when it contains all facts the reader or listener needs to react to your desired outcome. Sa complete, meron tayong who, what, where, when, and how. Sa who, sino ang gusto mong kausapin? Halimbawa, superior mo o yung boss mo. Tapos pwede ding customer mo. Dapat meron kang target audience para sa tama mong pakikipag-usap para alam mo kung anong tono mo na gagamitin. Sa mayuat, kung anong gusto mong gawin o ma-achieve sa gusto mong iparating na mensahe, kailangan meron kang may goal ka kung anong gusto mong maiparating. So where to put your ideas and instruction. Kailangan meron kang magandang flow sa sa sinulat mo para tuloy-tuloy lang siya, hindi siya malilito. Sa kung ano man sinado sa kanya na sa when kailangan yung message mo maipadala mo agad ng sa tamang oras, hindi siya mahuhuli para hindi kayo magkagulo. Sa how to achieve your objective, then state clearly. Parang i step by step kailangan mo siyang sabihin para may instruction para hindi malabo. And clarity, sa clarity. There must be clarity in terms of thought and expression. Ang idea o mensahe na gusto mong iparating ay dapat malinaw or tama ang mga spelling. Dapat din na mga salita ay sa paraang maintindihan ng receiver. Dapat walang kalabuan sa mensahe at dapat mapukaw mo yung receiver para mas maunawaan niya. Ayun ang clarity. And sa concise naman po, the message must be to the point and all unnecessary words must be eliminated. Conciseness is saying what you hear to say in the fewest word as possible. Tatanggalin natin yung mga unnecessary words. Tapos i-stand out natin kung anong gusto nating iparating. Huwag na tayong magpaligoy-ligoy pa. Kasi ayun din ang ayaw ng customer o kaya ng boss mo. Yung ano ka pa dyan. And courtesy. One must communicate in a friendly and polite manner. Courteous message help strengthen the present business friendship as well as make friends. Yung pagsimple mong pag-please or thank you or yung tono mo, malaking bagay na yun para makatulong ka at para makatulong yun sa communication. Magbibuild kayo ng bond ng customer o ng boss mo sa simpleng pag-please mo lang or thank you. Malaking tulong yung attitude. Next, Miles. Correct. All facts, words, language, information of the message must be accurate. Tama yung mga mensahe mo. Tama din dapat yung mga grammar at maganda yung flow. Para para hindi ma-insulto yung yung receiver at pagka maganda yung flow mo, tuloy-tuloy lang yun, maintindihan agad ng receiver. Di siya mawawala ng interest sa kung anong sinasabi mo o kung anong gusto mo iparating. Ayun na yun. Concrete. The message to be communicated must be specific and not vague. Concrete communicating concretely means being specific, definite, and vivid than vague and general. Sayangin mo na ang oras at ang ayaw mong gawin sa receiver mo sayangin mo ang oras niya or pasensya niya. Dahil pagka dun nga nawalan siya ng pasensya o kaya maubos yung oras niya, sa dami mong sinasabi, mawawalan siya ng interest sa kung ano yung sinasabi mo. Dun, magkakalabuan na kayo dun, and di na healthy yung communication niyo. Kaya dapat pati ipakita mo na interesado ka sa kanya. Interesado ka sa interesado ka din sa sinasabi niya. Gusto niyo magkaunawaan kayo, kaya yun ang pinapakita mo para may kasi pagka pinakita mong interesado ka sa kanya, sign of respect na yun. May na niya, mafe-feel na siyang manipil niyang gusto kong kausapin nito. Crush ako, ganun. Yun yung consideration. One must understand the emotion and sentiments of the receiver. Means that you prepare everything message with the recipient and moral and try to put yourself in his place. Unawain mo siya at ilalagay mo yung sarili mo sa kinalalagayan niya para kunya alam mo kung ano mararamdaman niya. Parang kunyari isipin mo, pagka pinadala ko ba ito, ma-open ba siya? O kung ano mapipili niya. Kung tama din sa kanya, mga ganun. Ayun lang po.
Dagdag ko lang sa consideration na. Sa consideration, kailangan marunong ka makiramdam. Dapat, habang kausap mo siya, is napipil mo kung ano yung nararamdaman niya sa pakikipag-usap sa'yo. Mararamdaman pala.
Tapos na po. Hindi pa ba? Hindi pa pala. Sorry.
Natapos mo agad eh.
Why is it important to communicate well? Unang answer dyan is, ang communication kasi is part of our daily life na, di ba? It's important to communicate well because your communication skill will help you mm, para para maintindihan mo rin ang ibang tao. Hindi lang hindi lang wait, hindi lang ang kanilang hindi lang ang kanilang pananalita, pati na rin syempre yung tono ng boses at yung kanilang nonverbal gestures. At ang pagiging active listener mo and active reader ay parte rin para maging isang good and successful communicator. And that's all. Thank you. Kung may idadagdag kayo, magsalita lang kayo.
Na kayo ba iya?
Salita na kayo, huwag na kayo maiya.
Thank you to our reporters for the very comprehensive topic about communication and related matters. We will be having a 5-minute break for you to relax and, of course, appreciate the discussion presented by the reporters. So, let's continue. Are you ready for the discussion?
Yes.
Okay, let's begin. We all know that communication is actually quite complex with a number of components. That's according to Nordquist of 2018. Why do you say that communication is quite complex with a number of components? Do you agree with the statement given by Sir Nordquist 2018?
Yes.
Sir
Yes, sir.
Justin, sorry, Sir Jerome, why do you say that it is quite complex?
Madaming sangay.
So, what happens if there are a number of components that we should consider in the communication process?
Sir ulit.
Why do you think that it is considered complex with a number of components in the communication process? Is communication really complex?
Sir, yes, kasi merong language barrier na tinatawag. Tama ba?
Yes, you are correct. That's one of the aspects that we should examine, the language barriers. So, we will further discuss the content of language barrier later. Other answers po, communication is actually quite complex with a number of components. Nordquist 2018. Uy, answers naman. Tama yung sagot ni Sir Paul. Hoy, ano nang sagot? Ayaw nyo naman mag-share. Nagbigay ng ilang halimbawa at paliwanag ang ating mga tagapag-ulat kanina. Batid ko na ang bawat isa ay nagkaroon ng panibagong perspektibo sa pagkaunawa ng komunikasyon bilang isang proseso at ang mga kaalaman na nakapaloob dito. Bakit nga ba ang wika ay complex?
Sir, di ko lang po sure, pero ang ano po kasi, para po sa akin, komplikado po ang communication dahil sa pagbabago ng pagbabago ng information or ng ideas.
Tama
Tama
po.
po ba?
Opo. Isa po yan sa isinasaalang-alang. Sino pa po ang iba na nais magbigay ng sagot? Uy, galaw-galaw naman pag may time. Hanggang 7 lang tayo. 'Di ba hindi nga natin nauubusin yung oras dahil nga mayroon kayong gagawing activity kasama pa rin yun sa oras ng ating klase. Pangalawa, binibigyan konsiderasyon ang inyong load at internet connection. Paano nyo naman mag-share? Hindi naman pwedeng ako lang, dalawa, tatlo ang kausap ko, 'di ba? Tama ba, Paul Justin? Uy, galaw, salita naman kayo.
Sir, sa ano, yung handwriting. Hindi ko alam kasi yung English dun eh. Pero sa pagsusulat,
Okay. Sa penmanship, ganun ba? Handwritten.
apa,
Okay, sige. So yung handwritten communication, tama rin. So yung penmanship, yung paraan ng pagsulat. Ano pa? Uy, magsalita naman kayo. Ayaw nyo ata sa akin.
Sir, hindi naman po.
Ayaw nyo
ang
kasi
lalim,
mag-share. Ano yung Paul Justin?
medyo malalim kasi sir. Mga nag-iisip pa kasi. Kumbaga.
Okay, sige. So, magbibigay
May
pa ako
sagot po ata sir si Jackie.
Ano po sir, komplikado kasi hindi pagde-deliver ng maayos yung information.
Okay, so what she is telling is about the mode of delivery. That's also correct. So, napakaraming aspekto ang tinitingnan natin sa proseso ng komunikasyon. Katulad ng mga nabanggit ng inyong mga kamag-aral, lahat po iyon ay tama. Mahirap intindihin kung hindi inuunawa. Doon po muna tayo sa pinakasimpleng paraan. Una ay ang tinatawag natin na mga salita. Tama kaya ang pagkakagamit ng mga salita? Maayos kayang nabuo ang mga salita? Sa salita pa lang o talasalitaan na mayroon sa isang tagapagsalita, nasasalamin kung gaano kalalim ang kanyang pagkaunawa sa magiging mensahe na ipahahatid sa kanyang kausap. Nakuha niyo yung point?
Opo.
Okay.
Po.
Sige, salamat. Kapag ang salita ay nagkaroon ng ibang paraan ng pagbigkas o pronunciation, naiiba ang tunog, gayon din ay nababago ang kahulugan. Kung hindi man alin sa dalawa, maaring ang kalabasan ay hindi pagkaunawa ng tagapakinig. Yun lamang ay isang simpleng halimbawa ng paggamit ng konteksto na komplikado ang komunikasyon. Sino pa po ang nais magbigay ng halimbawa? Wala na naman akong kausap. Sige, pangalawa pong halimbawa ay may kaugnayan sa elemento nito, ang tinatawag natin na noise. Di ba mayroong ibang katawagan sa noise ang barrier? Binanggit ito sa inyo ng isa sa reporter ba? O si Justin ba yung nagsalita kanina? Barrier
Sa report po.
o sa report. So, isa sa tinitingnan natin ang barrier o noise. Na maraming uri ng barrier at noise. Iisa-isahin po natin yan mamaya para sa mas malalim na pagkaunawa sa komunikasyon. Kapag sinabi po nating barrier, ito ay mga hadlang. Maaring ang hadlang ay internal o external. Nagaganap ang internal barrier kapag ang isang individual ay hindi handa sa komunikasyon. Samantalang external naman ay tumutukoy sa kanyang kapaligiran. Pangatlo na pwede nating sabihin na dahilan kung bakit ang komunikasyon ay komplikado ay ang tinatawag nating konteksto o context. Ang konteksto ay sumasaklaw sa mga pangyayari, kondisyon o kalagayan ng tagapagsalita at tagapakinig. Ito ay nagsasaad ng maaaring iba't ibang kalagayan katulad ng psikolohikal, pangkapaligiran, kultural, at ugnayan o relasyon. So yun po yung mga halimbawa. Ngayon na isa-isahin naman po natin ang mga components ng komunikasyon. Magsasalita na po ako sa Ingles dahil ang ating subject o asignatura ay business communication. Inaasahan po ang lahat na magsasalita at magbibigay ng mga sagot, magpapaliwanag gamit po ang wikang Ingles. Naunawaan po ba ng lahat?
Yes po, sir.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong positibong pagtugon. The components of communication. Other studies show that there are 7 components. As mentioned by the reporter, these are the following: sender, receiver, message, medium, feedback, noise, and context. So, in the component of receiver, in the component of sender, it is known also as the communicator or source. It is the starting point in which the communication process begin. So it has the information. The information could be a command, request, order, idea. Then it could be shared to others through different mode of delivery or channel. In the process of the sender, it is known as the encoding. So the sender must first encode the message, then transmit it later. The one who receives the message is the receiver. So the receiver can be known also as the interpreter. Why interpreter? Because he is the one who interprets and understands the message being sent by the sender. So for the receiver to understand or comprehend the message, he should first understand, ah, he should first decode the information so he can interpret it. So that's the process of decoding. The third is the message. The message can be also known as the content. Information, request, as I mentioned, the message is relayed between the parties. Then it is also the way that we construct the message for better understanding of it. The fourth one is the medium or the channel. It is it is in the form of text messages, social media, call, chat, and among related pa. Then feedback. It is the response or reply. Then it is the way that a written or verbal response can be done. Then if there is no response, we call it if there is a response, we call it an act or deed. And then we also have the noise. So it is the sort of interference can be classified as barrier. So it hinder the successful communication. Then last one is the context. It is a setting or situation in which the communication takes place. So I'll be presenting a model which you are already familiar with, the communication process. Again, the PPT that I will be presenting is not mine. So we have the copyright or acknowledging the author. Wait lang po, nag-error. Hindi ako makapasok. Lilipat lang ako sa laptop. I am expecting an active discussion. Sana po active. Sana. Okay lang ba kayo dyan?
Okay lang po.
Salamat. If there are errors in my construction of sentences, in my utterances, please bear with me. I am not using English for years, Ang tinuturo ko ay Filipino. Pero siguro naman nakakaunawa naman ako kahit papaano. Thank you for your understanding. Here's the PowerPoint presentation. Again, this is not mine. Bakit bumabagal ang net? Ang attitude naman. Ang dami nyo pala ngayon compared ng nakaraan. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Kitang kita.
Okay. Can you see the model of communication process?
Yes po.
Okay. So, it begins with the sender. As I've mentioned, it is the process of encoding, the preparation, selection of content. Then, it passes through the channel. So, the message is passed through the channel. And then, the coding process will take place once that the receiver have already received the message. Then, if you see the arrow here, pointing to feedback, so the receiver is ready to respond or reply to the message sent by the sender. Then, if you'll notice, environment is on the lower and bottom part of the communication process, which means that there could be barriers and situations which may affect the communication process. So if you'll notice, it is somehow a cycle because you will never know when is the end of the communication. Tama ba?
Yes po.
Okay, because any moment, the sender or the receiver can reply without prior notice to the one whom you are talking with. So let's have other informations about, sorry here, the classification of channels. So we have the visual, the auditory, the tactile, and combined. So when you speak of the visual, it could be in the form of facial expression, body language, posture, gestures, pictures, written words, electronic mirrors, mass media. So in short, the visual channel can be seen by our eyes, can be read, can be noticed. Can you follow?
Yes po.
Okay, so here, what are we using? The visual, the auditory, or tactile, or combined? What are we using? Visual or combined?
Combined.
Okay,
Combine.
correct. It is a combination of the visual and auditory. The auditory are spoken words, sounds, telephone, or mobile communication. Here, the limit is you cannot see whom you are talking with. You can only hear him or her, but you cannot see them. You cannot see him. The third one is the tactile. So, sensations, therapeutic touch, tapik-tapik, 'Di ba? You are all familiar with that. Tap on the shoulder, holding hands, tickling the, you know that. And the last one is the combined channel. I'm sorry. The combined channel, the audiovisual media. So what we are using right now, that is audiovisual. And then consoling a person with touch and spoken words. So in the context whenever someone is experiencing a problem, so that's touch and spoken words. Sorry dun sa tickling ha. Di po yung green, natawa lang ako. Okay. So now we have the uh, confounding elements. So what do we mean by confounding elements?
Indirect
What do you
communication.
mean, sir? Correct. So these are not direct. In short, these are indirect. Not totally related but still present. Nakuha nyo?
Opo.
Okay. So it is not in the direct part of the communication process, but it can influence the communication significantly indirected. Then the elements could be interpersonal variables of the sender and the receiver and the environment where the communication process take place. So here, the elements are related to the sender and the receiver. So experiences, educational background, attitude, age, sex could be those variables. And then they somehow affect the communication process in a manner that not totally significant. Hindi naman siya yung talagang tuluyang nakaaapekto. But in a way or mode, still may affect the communication process. The attitude towards the speaker, the response uttered by the receiver, the choice of words, uh, physical and mental health. If you are sick, you cannot have the full understanding. Kapag may sakit ba kayo, naiintindihan nyo ba lahat ng sinasabi sa inyo?
Hindi medyo.
Hindi, di ba? So those are the confounding elements. Then now we have the types of communication classified into four. The first is the means of delivering the message, the purpose of communication, the levels of communication, and the pattern of communication. Some of the topics here can be discussed in the following lessons. So we have the verbal communication, so spoken or written. Then under that, we have the spoken, written, telecommunication, and electronic communication. Second is the non-verbal, using the five senses, body gestures, facial expressions. So these are the examples. Hindi ko na masyadong elaborate dahil matatakal naman. Preview lang ito. Then the second, based on the purpose of communication, we have the formal and informal. So the formal communication, of course, it is standardized, follow line of authority, acceptable to everyone, based on general objectives. Next is the informal communication. So doesn't follow series of procedure or standard. It does not have the line of authority. It is casual. Then we have also the therapeutic communication. So whenever someone is sick, he needs medication. So that's the purpose of having therapy. Intrapersonal. So it is talking to yourself. It is self-examination, self-talk. Then we have, sorry, We have now the levels of communication, intrapersonal and then interpersonal. So inter meaning many. So you will be talking to two or more people, person or group of people. Then transpersonal. So it takes place within a person's spiritual domain. So it is about our spirituality, our faith, religion, and our faith, religious matters or acts. Then small group communication, so an interaction could be possibly done within a group of 3 to 5 persons in the workplace or in school. Then public communication, of course, mass or large group of people could be debate, sona, speech. Then organizational communication. So it happens within the organization, company, institution, association. Then based on the pattern, we have the one way. So when you speak of one way, it takes place when messages are delivered to the audience from one communicator only without constant feedback. Like this one, we are doing the one-way communication. I am the communicator, you are the audience. You are not totally expected to what? To give feedback. Then a two-way communication, it takes place when both the communicator and audience take part in the process. So you, as the audience, may raise questions and add information. And then the third one is one-to-one communication. It happens between one sender and one recipient at a time. So it is termed one-to-one communication. So example here is a nurse. It could be also you and your mother, you and your child communicating with one another. One to many, so one person, one communicator to many people. So it could be in a community, class, or association. Many to one. So it is the counterpart of one to many. Many to one meaning it is an organization, a community, several people communicate with one person at a time. So you have already mentioned the 7 C's of effective communication: completeness, clarity, courtesy, consideration, conciseness, concreteness, correctness. So here are the other attributes that we should consider in having a successful communication. So positive attitude, improving communication skills, getting feedback of communication skills, goal-oriented communication using creative alternative approaches, minimizing negative impact, warmth and friendliness, openness and respect, empathy, and comfortable environment. So that's all for our lesson today. I hope that you have learned something about the communication and other areas related to it. So you may open your cam for the photo opportunity. This will serve as attendance. Photo opportunity na parang nasa kasal. Open your camera. This will serve as your attendance today. Nakikita nyo na ba na open ang camera nung iba? Wala pa akong nakikita. I can see Sir Justin, Sir Jerome. How about Miss Erica and Marie Diane as well? Sir Presto.
Uy, may pogi.
How about Sir Alvin? Sir Rex? Ma'am Ibanez? Okay, sige, pwede na yan. Ay nila mag-open ng camera eh. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Let's wait for the activities in the Google Classroom for topic 1. Goodbye everyone. Thank you and God bless us all. You may leave now.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.